the U.S. administration faces a bind. Trump wants this conflict in Iran to be over. That's no secret. He's wanted the conflict to be a job done for weeks, perhaps even a couple months now. And he is unable, although they have laid out an exit ramp in the form of this memorandum of understanding from a couple weeks ago, to actually exit the conflict. But at the same time, the options are either more carrots or more sticks. They tried carrots in the form of the memorandum of understanding. Here we are today with very much active kinetic activity in the Strait of Hormuz, fairly constantly. Now we have even further escalation with sort of tit for tats between Saudi and the Houthis. That's very bad news. And so it seems like we're going back to sticks for a bit of time. We have had 3 nights of reported strikes, as Central Command has laid out for us. That is probably likely to continue. And the real question is the U.S. administration, is Trump willing to pursue decisive escalation to end the war once and for all? And is he willing to pay that cost?
So, Lindsay, I guess one of the byproducts here, which I think everybody foresaw, maybe with the exception of the administration, that Iran's power in this part of the world has just become exceptionally stronger now that they say, oh, we actually do and can control the Strait of Hormuz. How does that play itself out?
Yeah, Paul. I mean, it is really a remarkable miscalculation, apparent miscalculation by the U.S. administration from the very start of this conflict, that everybody else, as you said, would have been very well aware of the risks to Strait of Hormuz and the knock-on impact on energy pricing, and then out to everything really in the global economy. But that didn't seem to really hold weight or play into the decision-making that the U.S. administration pursued at the start of this conflict. And so what that means from here is that we have a great sort of tension or misalignment at the heart of this conflict going forward around the Strait of Hormuz. You know, if you look at the memorandum of understanding, the language, and, you know, I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to be a little finicky here. The language in paragraph 4 says that the U.S. will, upon signing of the memorandum of understanding, remove the naval blockade. Paragraph 5 says, upon signing of the memorandum of understanding, Iran will pursue its best efforts to sort of reopen the Strait of Hormuz for a period of 60 days without charge. Those are very, very different standards. Now, best efforts is a strict standard. It's not just, you know, giving it the old college try, but it does mean that Iran perceived what the language was to say that there was going to be no fee only for 60 days, and it was going to just have to use its best efforts.
I mean, I would understand, Dr. Newman, that everyone in America, and particularly President Trump's supporters, understand the diplomatic effort is to be kind, original versus other diplomatic efforts we've done. My basic idea is there was a nuclear agreement. We got rid of that 2018. Now we got different agreements, and centered around them is what Iran did, which is build out their missile capability. Do you see any ability of us to halt, destroy, damage their missile capability?
Well, I mean, that's obviously a military question in part, which is to say that we know that after last year's June 12-day conflict with Iran, that the U.S. administration said they had in fact degraded and removed and destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities. Then obviously there was a big asterisk over that. That was not really the case. It had just caused some damage. And we know there has been some level of degradation, but you're absolutely correct, Tom, in saying that not only has Iran pursued this path, but one of the main takeaways from this conflict has to be that if it had actually been a nuclear Iran to begin with, they would not be in this position at all. That, in fact, if they were North Korea, that the U.S. wouldn't have come knocking. And so that only incentivizes Iran, in fact, to pursue more nuclear capabilities. And we have evidence that that's already being pursued.
Right. Do you, and with all the Chatham House ability in your relationship with King's College, which defines war studies worldwide, do you have any idea of who's running Iran? If you look at the far right, the people that the religion was forward defense and all that, do we know who we're talking to in Iran?
Yeah, I mean, we know who we're talking to, which is a certain number of individuals who may or may not actually represent the more hardline view of the IRGC, which is really what is running around. So we have the Ayatollah. Obviously nobody's seen him publicly, but he's continuing to make himself known. He released a statement just last week saying that Iran will pursue vengeance against those who have pursued these attacks on Iran and and his father. But that is the key question. Iran remains a bit of a black box. And we know that the IRGC and sort of the hardliners have sort of taken the front center here, and who the U.S. has been speaking with, Aragi and others, are not really those who necessarily have the ear of the IRGC. And that's where sort of the conflict lies, because you can make a deal wherever in the world you want on a piece of paper and called the Memorandum of Understanding, but there's no actual understanding between those who are in control.